Thank you so much for that beautiful prayer. And brothers and sisters, are you ready? We have been really blessed today to be all here together to receive this message. Reverend Dunkley's been on tour for last 4 months. Wow, give it up for that. That's incredible. He's been really, just sharing such a deep and profound message with our brothers and sisters. And I believe this is his last stop before going to Korea. So we're really blessed here at Belvedere to receive that message. And without further ado, let us welcome our Continental Director, Reverend Demian Dunkley. Also, we do have a gift for Reverend Dunkley, some flowers.
Thank you. Please be comfortable. Wow. It's like this every Sunday, right? I really feel I really feel a lot of love from Father in this room. You feel? I'm listening to the songs. Yeah. Like a father's smile could burn through any cloud. And so that love, where does that love come from? Heavenly Parents' heart. So the title of today's message is You Were Born to Love. You were born to love. I am so happy to see your family, Reverend Kikuchi. You have a beautiful family. So welcome to America. Really, I'm happy to see you and your children. Thank you. So I don't know, Justin, you have to think what is fun for the kids to do. They should be doing soon. Some kind of like make them really happy to be in America. So, you were born to love. Well, everyone knows how to love. Everyone knows how to love until it becomes difficult. So last week, I want to just recap where we are. You've heard me talking about belief. Belief is very important. And then you have faith. Faith is even more precious. And then you have identity. And I want to just bring everybody back to what I mentioned in Las Vegas about our trip to Colorado. We were there at the Holy Ground in the National Park on the 61st anniversary to the day that Father established that Holy Ground. And at that moment, I was with Yumiko and Hannah, and we brought food. The food was actually almost a distraction, kind of unnecessary. I mean, that was the idea, go there for a picnic. But in some sense, we only had an hour and a half. Everything that we needed was there, really. We wouldn't have lasted for many days without food, but we made a beautiful sandwich, sitting down there by the river, drinks. But honestly, it was all kind of the bags of goodies from Trader Joe's was kind of a distraction out there in this wild and perfect natural beauty. And I described that beauty in the letter that I read, the letter I wrote to Mother. And my most internal experience there was just simply noticing how in nature, because nothing is out of place, anything that comes into your field of awareness that is out of place is immediately recognizable, whether it's your thought or someone's word or a sound or a structure that doesn't look beautiful, anything against the backdrop of perfect creation. And in the hustle and bustle of busy areas, we can lose sight of that absolute reference point of beauty because we're surrounded by things and people and thoughts and words. So that's the beauty of starting at that point in nature. So I'm inviting you to start there in your own mind, envisioning yourself surrounded by perfect nature, where everything is in place. And you are God's child. So do you believe you're God's child? Do you have faith that you're God's child, even when you can't quite believe it? But what's deeper than believing you're God's child or having faith that you're God's daughter? Knowing is still in the framework of belief, isn't it? So what's deeper than knowing? Experiencing? Being. Being is perfectly there. Being God's children. Right? That's all we need. To be God's children. But you're there in this perfect nature, and then you're being God's daughter, you're being God's son. Now what? Now what? I was asking my daughter, Hannah, on the way here, so what's the first question that comes to mind? Now, I already knew the next question that she's supposed to have, but she asked the wrong question, so. The first question that came to Hannah's mind, it's not the wrong question, but the first question that came to Hannah's mind was, well, what do I do? For me, the first question is, well, before what do I do, the first question was why? So it leads to purpose. It's both leading to purpose, right? So what is our purpose as God's son and God's daughter? So last week I mentioned our purpose is to grow, to love, and to build. And with joy, while bringing joy to God, to humanity, and all things. How about that? Our purpose is to grow, to love, to build, bringing joy to God, humanity, and all things. How about that? Does that sound like a nice purpose? Is that okay? We'll take it? And last week I focused on the first purpose, to grow. So if we think of these three things, we can't really divide. I mean, they're all happening simultaneously, but there's also some sequential emphasis as we grow. And this week I'd like to focus on love. So last week I was explaining in Atlanta, the first purpose is to grow. It was very, I could see, soothing, because we have a lot of worries and concerns, but if you just think your purpose is to grow, it becomes, okay, that's just simple. I can. So, but today I want to focus on love. I'm going to need your help on this one. This is a big topic. As I'm driving here this morning, I'm thinking, really? I'm going to preach about love? That's like, my God, we could do a whole year on that, and still, where would we be? So I just want to share the reflections that occur to me and invite you to, discover for yourself. Again, love is easy until it becomes difficult. So what is love? I'm asking, what is love, please? Emotions? Envelopes? Interesting. Living for the sake of others? What was it? Shout out louder. Connection? Impulse of the heart? What? Commitment? Unity? Soul food? Food? Somebody had to say food. Yes. Then let's break and eat and we're done. So actually, there's perhaps no greater love than cooking for the sake of others. Come on, give me more. I think the more words we fill the air with is going to be really high vibration. So what is love? Curry? Caring. And curry, okay. Caring, yeah. Unconditional. Freedom, forgiveness, sacrifice. Patience. Joy. Empathy. It's a force. Force of goodness. It's an energetic force of goodness coming from God's bodyguard. Possibilities. Susan? Compassion. Okay, so I want to walk through this with you, and so be with me in your goodness. And, I think we need to imagine some of the things we're talking about, because you're all sitting, like sardines in a room listening to one guy. But imagine the various scenes of love that you experience. So when you love, let's start with easy love. And what I mean by that is, think of a moment that you are experiencing love with another. Okay, so we're talking about relationship here too, yeah? So last week, we're about growth. We're really thinking about the relationship with God and being grateful. Actually, we're receiving love from God. In our identity as God's children, even just if I say that, surely I'm opening my vessel to receiving love from God, and I'm relating with the universe God gave me. So but now I'm talking about loving others. Okay, wow. Okay, so raise your hand if you have had an experience of loving someone before. Okay, we have Tal. Can you take down the names of? No, I just want you to. We're going to start easy. So, loving someone who's really easy to love. Picture that person. Okay. You see that person? And picture the moment. It's an easy person to love, and it's an easy environment to love them. No challenge. Can you see that person? Okay, you're all smiling. Okay, so enjoy it. Be there. Imagine that person now. Don't tell your spouse who it is. unless it's them, okay? But just, it's the easy person to love, okay? And so just hold it to yourself and imagine your experience of loving that person, okay? How does it feel? So this could be family members. It could be friends. People that understand you or you share that moment with. It's natural. So remember Colorado, I painted that picture for a reason. So you're sitting by a stream, you're surrounded by humble grass that seems to all be bowing in the right direction. You have canopy of trees on one side, a view of mountains, green mountains with snow-capped, big, bold, masculine type mountains off in the distance. The whole sky is blue, it's beautiful, the temperature is perfect. And the stream that's coming through the valley and right beside you is a symphony of sound that's just soothing and melodic and healing. You are in a healing place and you turn to your side and you see the person that you love and you share love with, and it's easy. There's nothing out of place there, right? It's natural, okay? So that's the environment I'm talking about. This is too confining for an Italian. I respect the microphone so much. So, are you all there with me? So, that's one dynamic. Now, let's take it a moment forward. Let's imagine a dynamic with somebody that's not as easy. You turn maybe to your left this time. Just so happens to be. You turn to your left, and this time you're seeing someone, relating with someone who maybe brings some tension to the... Okay, sorry, we're going to go there. Just a little bit of tension. Something's uneasy. Maybe there's a miscommunication or something like this. Now, I'm asking you, in that environment, it's a very isolated energy given everything else is naturally in its place. All of a sudden, you're with another human being and you feel tension, or you're analyzing, maybe there's a miscommunication. You have some thought that maybe in a couple of minutes we'll get back on point, in swing, but there's a moment of tension there, okay? How do you feel? Uncomfortable? Unbalanced? Irritated? Worried? Anxious? Resentful? Wow, you go there quick. We have deeper levels to go. You're already at resentful. I'm going to be interested what you have to say. Round 3. Okay, so... Okay, is it you or them? Okay, it's you. Okay, but let's say that you say, okay, peace starts with me, But, what if you get to the point, Olga, where you're kind of pretty sure it's not you? Is there such a thing? Yes. Is there not such a thing? Oh, is it that every human dynamic is horizontalized, so automatically it's always 50-50? Is that really the case? I think as husbands we all know it's always our fault, first of all, right? No? Raise your hand if you can relate. No husbands? Oh, only the husbands that aren't with their wives today. Women were born to raise men, were they not? Thank God bless you. Thank you. So there's tension. And you put yourself in a good place here. Father guided us to love, to give, to forget, to give again, love again, right? No matter. Isn't that so? So you're in that space and, you feel something out of place, but you're committed to being centered. It's possible to remain centered even when you're with another human being that's off center. Isn't that so? It must be so. Okay, so what do we do in that situation? Let me ask you this. in those scenarios, are you able to stay centered sometimes? Yeah? Raise your hand if you're pretty good at staying centered most of the time. We got some. Okay, good. You good. Good. I'm good. Tal, can you check? Okay, but here we go. It does get a bit harder. Now, let's say in that situation, you find there's some miscommunication. You're patient. They get upset. They get uptight. But you hold the space. You breathe. You hear the birds, clucking away in the trees. I mean, it's not that difficult. You're in Colorado right now, right? You're in nature. So, but you're patient, and you find maybe your way back into some balance. I think many of us have had this experience daily, right? Daily. Okay, but it does get harder. Are you ready to go next level? It does get harder. So what about when you're in a situation where you're holding the center and you're being patient and you're loving that person, even if they're a little bit out of equilibrium? You feel it. You're very sensitive in this pure zone, right? Right? So you now seek to love them in some sense, even when it feels like maybe there's no doorway that's open to receive that love. Have you ever tried to love, but your love doesn't land? Can you understand what I'm asking? So everybody? So you're investing love into that person, but you're vividly aware of the fact that they don't want to receive it. You've been patient now. Now, how does that feel? You're now at like level 3, let's say. It's not really levels, but you feel something but you're willing even to carry them, right? You're willing to sacrifice for them. You're willing to forget what you've sacrificed. You're loving them. But you're now feeling like it's bouncing off the wall. You've got that picture in mind? Can you imagine that? All right. Raise your hand if you've had such an experience. All right, now tell me who with. I'm joking, don't worry. What do you do when you're loving, but there's nowhere for your love to land? How does it feel in that moment? Sad? Triste? Same word? Baggage? Painful? Disappointed? Frustrated? Come on. Underwear? Design? Upset? Discouraged? Resentful? What we get? What's worse than resentful? We got it. You got it. You're gonna need. Okay. Okay. All right. Are you ready to go one level further now, Kimi? Now Kimi's so confident. He's like, now Kimi's got a system for all of this. He's leaning back in his chair, very, very, very clear. So there's times when it goes beyond just your love not being received. You want them to, you feel like you're being misunderstood, there's a miscommunication, and now you're even willing. It's almost like you're willing to do their responsibility for them in some sense, right? You're willing to carry what it is they can't see, and that's goodness, but it becomes maybe frustrating or eventually, resentful. But now we're going to go one level further, and now it's people acting out of place quite determinately. So let's say it's not just a misunderstanding, but they're actually doing something that's wrong, either driven by power, politics, or ego, or their own resentments, whatever those issues are, and they're actually damaging you, either consciously or unconsciously. I don't know. What do you prefer? Conscious Hate or unconscious hate. I don't know. Either one, if either one's better. I don't know. Has anyone had the experience where you are witnessing someone, another human being, do something that you know is actively hurting you? Either in the room there or by other means, affecting your life, making your life more challenging, more painful as a result of their conscious or unconscious actions. Has anybody had that experience before? So you're in Colorado, and the birds are still singing. Now you see this person, and it's painful. How does it make you feel? Upset. Justin's he's starting to simmer. He's now getting to the point where, okay, now Kimmy, how do you feel at this point? Getting ready to fight. Rolling up his sleeves. How do you feel when someone you know is doing something either because ego, power, politics, or they're afraid, whatever you're analyzing the reason to be, they're doing something that hurts you? How do you feel? They're choosing to do it. How do you feel? They're choosing to do it and they're pretending that they're not doing it. How do you feel? Furious? Vengeful? Oh, we've gone from resentment to, we're calling our friends in Sicily. I have some, if you need. Blocked? Blocked. Angry. So raise your hand if you've never had this experience before. Okay. Come see me at the end. I'm very interested to meet you. Are you enjoying? I mean, the birds are still singing, okay? I'm not bringing you through hell, am I? But you understand, I've got one foot in reality, right? Dr. Walsh, these things happen, do they not? Okay. So, again, Father would say, just love and invest, forget, love your enemy, and so on, right? But how are you feeling now? I'm asking how you're feeling. Abused. So, how about this? I'll go one deeper. Is it more painful when someone hurts you? Or is it more painful when someone hurts the one you love? Second one? Yeah, me too. Who else agrees with that? Like, there's being hurt, and then there's witnessing that same kind of energy directed towards someone you love, someone you die for. That's, for many of us, I think, more painful than even just receiving the attack. Are you with me? It's interesting, dynamic, if you think about it. And then there comes a moment when, even under such circumstances, you're willing to love under those circumstances. Right? Have you had that experience? We're now talking about loving the enemy, guys. We are the unification. Father's watching. Surely there's going to be some of us that can raise our hands that can say, yes, I have actively sought revenge on my enemy. I mean, loved my enemy. Has anyone had that experience? Yes. Alexa, loved the enemy? Are you kidding me? See my hand right here? I'm here, aren't I? That's actually the truth is probably none of us would be here unless we had, right? Right? Forgiveness. Okay, we are churchgoers after all. So, has everyone had the experience of loving your enemy? It's not easy, is it? Okay. It actually becomes, I think, let me ask you this. Have you had the experience where you love in the circumstance where not only they're hurting you, but they're hurting someone you love? Now, you're still willing to love them? But how do you feel? How do you feel in that? Tight? Frustrated? Keep speaking to me. Come on, throw it at me. Hopeless? Conflicted? Awakened? Awakened. What? Divided? Anguish? Come on. Calculating? Righteous? More? I want to know. Teach me. What do you feel? Hope? Determined? Despair? Okay, so I think that the point I'm getting at is very simple. Where does love come from? So, help me out here, guys. If God is the source of love, I'm born to grow, and I'm born to love, and God is the source of that love, when is it that you hit your ceiling? Where do you hit your own limitation of love? Actually, there's so many things in the world out of place. There's things in our own families out of place. There's things in our place of work. There's the neighbor. We're surrounded by things that are strikingly out of place in contrast with this beautiful natural scene that we're sitting in Colorado right now, if we think about it, right? And some of the things out of place are literally affecting you or the people you love directly, and it's hurting. And still you're in this position where you're seeking to figure out how to love them. At a certain point, you hit your ceiling. But I say, even if I'm willing to love my enemy and my feeling is disappointment, if my feeling is exhaustion, it's reflecting back to me my limit, isn't it? And that's where my limit is. That's where I find my deepest challenge. And when I think about it, I realize, well, the reason you feel the exhaustion or the disappointment is because you're assuming that you're the source of that love that you're investing in that person. But if you are God's son, God's daughter, who is loved by God, and the love that you're giving is an extension of God's love. If God is the source of the love that you're giving, even the unlovable, then are you frustrated and tired? Is it possible to be exhausted, disappointed, vengeful towards the enemy if you're loving the enemy, let's just say enemy, with God's love? So imagine now that scene where you are in front of what we can call an enemy. What is an enemy? Go back to Colorado. Any thought, any word, any structure, any action that's out of place with what you're experiencing in God's perfect creation, what does it mean, enemy? It's an enemy of whom? Enemy of God. It's an enemy of God. That thought is an enemy of God. That action is an enemy of God. An enemy in that it is a thought or a feeling or an energy that's in contrast to the loving energy and joyful flow that God is seeking to have with that person, with that entity. So before they are an enemy of yours, they are out of place in the garden. Before it's something that you're a witness to it, you might be the main character in their attack, but actually the first thing that's out of place is that person's placement with God in the garden. Isn't it so? So when you think of loving someone else, that's difficult to love. you take it up one notch further and you say, well, I'll remember that God is the source of love, and therefore I can love the other person because God is the source of love. It's actually still difficult if you keep it at that level of understanding. Because you're saying, well, you're feeling the pain of that sort of strange shape energy. It's sort of spiky energy, something out of place there. You feel it, you see it. You don't even want to put words to it. Your spirit body knows it. It's there, and then you can analyze it all you want. But you feel it changes your own vibration. It's coming into it's challenging you, right? It doesn't feel good. And then you see it multiplying and going to others that you love. Okay, you're willing to love. You're willing to hold the space. And then you're remembering, I believe I'm God. I have faith I'm God's son. I can do this. No, I am being God's son. I will love you with God's love, right? But it's still difficult. I say it's difficult because you're forgetting in that moment that person is God's child, and they're hurting God first. Because if we put the pain centering on us, then we're putting ourselves in the center of that dynamic. We're putting ourselves in the center of the dynamic of that bad feeling. It's hurting us, or they're hurting someone we love. It's about me. Oh, I'm God's child. I will love you. I will forgive you with God's love. But it's still about me. Whereas when I see the person who's creating this kind of fractal noise, the first thing they're doing is exposing themselves in this beautiful garden, exposing themselves to God, humanity, and all things. Something's out of place in their thinking, in their thoughts, in their energy, for whatever reason. And there will be a reason. And it may help you in relationship to them to understand and reflect on the motivation and why, where they come from and all those things. We know this. But first and foremost, guys, if you think of that person as hurting God, not hurting me, it's hurting God first. All of a sudden now, you are God's representative. You see this person hurting God. You feel sorry for God now, not yourself. You're not overcoming it for your sake or your family's sake or being the big person in the room to even love them, because even the unlovable. You're thinking, wow, you're hurting God first. This is a human being that God made and God wants to have a love relationship with. And there's all of a sudden it changes the dynamic. Think of it for a minute. Do you understand what I'm saying? How often do we know it, but how often do we actually relate to people in this way? Does it make sense? How can we love the unlovable when everything else is perfect and there's one thing out of place? How can I love the unlovable when it's so obviously unlovable? It's hurting everything. It's hurting me. It's hurting all the people around. It's clearly wrong. It's clearly bad. How can I love the unlovable and not be tired and exhausted and disappointed? Because at some level, shouldn't you be disappointed? It's out of place. Oh, you're judging. Even before you think about it, you feel something's off. But it really is exhausting. For me, it's exhausting. But I'm, realizing that, well, if I understand that actually that child of God is hurting God first, it's strange. It changes the dynamic. Are you following me? It changes the dynamic because now I'm actually putting God in the center. God is the core recipient of that pain. It's not wrong to judge it as wrong. It's something off. It's something wrong. But we often slide into this place of putting ourselves in the center, even as the arbiter of God's love. but that person is first hurting God. If I think from that viewpoint, then it changes the dynamic. It gives me greater power. It's like, oh, I'm with God in this. So God truly is the source of my understanding, my love, and my forgiveness. Do you understand? And maybe, just maybe, if we practice that way, we won't tire so quickly. Because my God, it's exhausting. Isn't it? So I'm actually just taking us through a mental exercise to reposition our thinking around what it means to love the enemy. Is to think of them first as God's child, but actually recognize that the pain I'm feeling is felt first by God and even greater by God, isn't it? We know these things, but can we put it into practice when we're in that situation? So I want to remind you of a beautiful story from Scripture, Gospel of John, and this is Jesus washing the disciples' feet. Now, in reality, in some sense, many of us feel this feeling with someone who should be in a higher position than us. Let's say an elder or a family member, an uncle, an auntie, a parent, a pastor, a leader, or just an elder brother, elder sister. Sometimes it's harder to feel, this kind of magnanimous love towards someone who really should be loving us in some sense. And so in that sense, we need to think about how to do that. And if you think from Jesus' viewpoint, Jesus is perhaps more from the parental viewpoint, you can say, is the elder viewpoint. So he knows that the betrayal is coming through Judas. He knows the betrayal is coming. He knows the denial is coming through Peter. And he knows that the abandonment is coming from everyone. Betrayal, denial, abandonment. He knows these things are in his midst. But he gets up from the table, removes his outer garment, wraps a towel around himself, and kneels down, beginning to wash their feet in a servant's role. Washing their feet, humbling, washing the feet of those he knows will fail him. Washing the feet of those he knows will betray him. And even Peter protests. It's like, how, I can't let you, right? But Jesus warns them. If you don't let me do this, you'll have nothing to do with me. It's like this may be the only condition through which you can claim to be a part of me. So Jesus is going to the lowest place to love them. How does Jesus live his life without tiring? How does Father live his life without exhaustion? I mean, how much betrayal? I mean, look at his poem. He knew from a young age there would be no other way. And I believe Jesus' technique, Father's technique, and Mother's technique, they're always thinking about God's experience in the thing, in that moment. They're first thinking about God's experience. When I witnessed Mother describing to me the moment that the vengeful prosecutors who hate the Unification Church entered into her bedroom and threw all of her things into a pile on the floor, while hundreds more trampled onto the floor of the Chonwongung with their boots without putting socks on, Mother's first instinct was sorrow for heaven. I saw it as she described the scene. She wasn't speaking from a place of challenged pride. How could they do this to me? She was angered. She was fearful. She was worried. For heaven's sake. For heaven's sake. Right? How does Jesus survive? Knowing that heaven is right here. I tell you, Jesus did not preach of a heaven that was thousands of years away. Oh, but then how would we know without the New Testament? How would we know to become perfect? We needed the last 2,000 years. No, we did not. We did not need 6,000 years to come home. Picture yourself in the perfect, pristine, beautiful, natural garden that God gave us. And now, since Foundation Day, we are in Chonilguk. All the conditions made, the foundations prepared. We don't have the national level, but we are already in Chonilguk. We are beyond the period of restoration through indemnity. We are in the era of salvation through attendance, growth through attendance, love through attendance, build through attendance. What is attendance? It's what I was talking about in Atlanta. God made all things. So what is God's experience, Mike, with the sunset? Does God see the sunset? Does God feel the joy of looking at the sunset? Does God see the sunset? If God sees the sunset, in some sense, then why does he need to make true parents? Does God not have everything God needs already to see beauty and experience joy? Why does God need a family? Because God wants to experience and be one with us, growing and loving and building and experiencing joyfully all these dynamics. I believe that even God, in all God's omnipotence and God's greatness, is limited in his ability to feel joy without the substance of human beings giving him that substantial platform to feel substantial joy, which would mean that there might even be some limit to God's ability to feel joy, feel the sunset, taste the perfectly cooked al dente, slightly picante pasta al pomodoro, il basilico fresco by the Amalfi Coast with a glass of fizzy water. Or holy wine. God is limited, I believe, in his ability to experience that joy, if not through human beings, if not through God's children. Otherwise, why would he need God's children? He's fine to just... And even then, it's about experiencing it with one another. Hannah was in England for 2 weeks. She called me in the middle of her trip. She was having this beautiful experience. And she called me just to say hi. It was like a 90-second call. She didn't know, but I was literally in the middle of a Q&A session at the time. And it was my daughter calling me in tearful joy, the experience of joy, but also experiencing the longing of wanting to experience that joy together with the family as well. Wasn't it? So it's like God can see everything, but what can God feel if not with us living who we are as God's children? Mother said, true parents' responsibility is to create the environment through which all of God's children can attend Heavenly Parent again. So what does that mean, attend? Is it only in the Chonchimwan between 10 p.m. and 1 a.m. in purple with the right number of candles? Is it only in church on Sunday? Is it only in Korean? Is it only when you're bowing to an elder? Is it only on the holy day? Is it only then? Mother said she dreams of the day that she can see blessed families holding hands, joyfully holding hands, going to church together. Does Mother mean only going to church together on Sunday? Is that the only place, Reverend Pierre Edner Louis, that only at Sunday is the only place Mother wants to see families holding hands in joy? Is it church or is it God? It's experiencing God. What is attending God? It's experiencing God joyfully, through humor, through laughter, through all of the emotions. God wants to smell the flowers through you. When you give the flowers to the ladies see their own beauty reflected in the flowers. They think all kinds of things. Apparently, they think, oh, he picked it just for me. He must have been thinking about me. And is he saying that I look like these flowers? And, oh, it's like, it's the thought. It's all these things. When you look at the photograph, the group picture, who are you looking for? Are you looking for everyone else? Father said it. You're looking for yourself, your picture, because that's God's own nature, wanting to see God's own nature reflected in the other. God wants to see and experience everything that God's created, and we are the substantial vehicle through which God gets to do so. So attending God is including you living your life as God's son, as God's daughter, joyfully. Oh, but I'm only human. I'm not allowed to do that. Uh-oh, that's a problem. Then you're blocking God. God wants to experience those joys through you. What, you mean I'm allowed to be healthy? Yeah. I'm allowed to be happy? Please. Please. It's your purpose. And when we love even through the difficult times. It's those difficult times when we hit our ceiling of capacity that we're reminded that there's no way to love this person unless I am loving them with source love and recognizing that they too are a person in relationship with God. If I recognize these things, then it becomes easier for me to love that person. Now, take that love straight back to the easy love that we had at the beginning. When you're experiencing easy love, you're on the Amalfi Coast with someone that you love, and you're having your best plate of spaghetti, whatever it is. Maybe you like fish. You pick your plate, okay? But it's Amalfi, no other place, okay? I'm deciding for you. You're on the Amalfi Coast. You are literally heaven on earth right now, and you're looking out to the Mediterranean Sea, and you're eating your favorite dish. It's Italian, but it's your favorite dish. And you're with the person, sorry for those of you from France. Anyway, you're with the person that you love, and it's easy to love them because they love you. You're back there. Now, go back to that place and recognize that their joy, their smile, their enjoyment of that food, their smile when they smile at you, they're making God happy first. They're bringing joy to God first. It's not you first. Do you understand? We forget that. We forget the relationship with God when it's easy to love. God's there loving us. Everything's beautiful. We're receiving everything. And we're having this joyful experience. But if we're not remembering God as source, literally, actively in this moment, then that's not true gratitude. There's no gratitude. Oh, it's easy love. But actually, imagine magnifying even the easy love. I say easy love. It's the true, perfect, simple love. But now attach that love to God, which you otherwise wouldn't be challenged to do because, it's not difficult. It's just, we're great. This is great. We're having a fantastic time. No challenges. But remember, all of that is God. That is attending God in that moment. Do you understand? Do you agree? Yes. Then give God, then enjoy that moment with one another by praising God. Jesus didn't wait for them to be perfect. Jesus did not wait for their alignment. Jesus didn't wait for their understanding. Jesus didn't wait for them to have an entry point where his love could be understood and received. He loved unconditionally because he was not alone. Love is proven in the moment of endurance, but love is sustained by your relationship with God. Your love is proven in that moment of endurance, but it is sustained through your relationship with God. Isn't that so? But love becomes exhausting if you try to carry it by yourself. It's sustained through our relationship with God. Union with God. All over the world, there's people insecure, there's people who are reactive. So we're not here to escape that. We're not here to escape that. We are here to love within that. Okay? So let's have some mellow music. I'm actually going to give you some time to meditate on this because you guys are all so clever. So you just think, but I want you to experience. So we're going to have some mellow music, and we're going to close our eyes and breathe. Is that okay? All right. So get comfortable. Sit comfortably in your chair, and Close your eyes. Close your eyes. And breathe. Let's take some deep breaths. Let's breathe in. Let it all out. Just breathe out. Breathe in. When you breathe in, you can feel I am God's child. And you breathe out, all is well. And just keep breathing and relaxing. God is here. God is not far away. God is with you. Breathing in God. I want you to think of a moment, a real moment. Someone that represents a difficulty for you, a relationship that feels blocked, or a situation with no entry point for your love. It doesn't matter who it is or what it is. It can be the first one that comes to mind. Just be there. And go into that moment. Be there as God's child. You're in that moment with that person. Don't try to fix it. You're not there to change them right now. Just stay with God. As you see them acting out of alignment, hold your place with God and see them. It might be embarrassing to you. It might be painful to you. It might be disappointing to you. It might be unforgivable to you. But even before those feelings occur to you, how is God feeling in that person? In a sense, you're seeing them quite pitiful because they're making God feel those feelings first before you feel them. Realign your understanding to see that the person who is giving you a challenge is actually challenging God first. It's between them and God. And then with God's love, love them from that place. You're not alone. It's not forced. It's not fake. It's with Heavenly Parent. Just be. Notice if there's anything that shifts in your awareness when you see them from that place. Okay, now I want to ask you to pick another moment, a moment of joy. Someone with whom you share love freely, easily. See the smile on their face, the smile on your face, the laughter, the comfort, the trust, the embrace. And then before you recognize your own joy, look at the joy on the other person's face and think for a moment that they're actually putting a smile on God's face first. See them that way. They're bringing joy to God. And you feel joy, and you know that you're bringing joy to God. And you know that you're experiencing this joy because of God, and you're grateful for that joy. And you see the other, and you know they exist because of God. And they're grateful because of God's love. you have a complete eternal relationship of love. See that, feel that, be in that moment. Breathe into that moment. Okay, open your eyes. Give yourselves a round of applause. I hope you went on a good journey. Thank you. I just want to leave you with an action step today. If you can, right now, pick a moment or imagine a moment that will happen, either in dealing with something that's difficult or deepening something that's already joyful and really connecting it to God. Pick at least the determination to have one real experience today with someone where you will fully feel as a child of God in relationship to another child of God, with God's love as the source of the love that you exchange. Can you see? Can you imagine? Do you know who with whom? Or you just want to be ready to pay attention? I just want to invite you to really make it intentional, even just one time before the end of the day, okay? Aju? And then think about it before you sleep. Claim it. Pray about it and claim it before you close your eyes, okay? So, love, but not by yourself. We're born to grow with God. We're born to love with God. And with God, truly, it sounds like you've heard it 1,000 times before, but only with God, not with God just in our belief, not only with God in our faith, but God in our being, with God in our being. We are made of God. We are sons and daughters of God. We are in Chon Il Gu. Doesn't have to be something that you experience after a 120-day workshop or after another 2,000 years. You can be God's child right now and experience God's love with one another and recognize and be grateful for that. We're here to love, but if you love with God, you'll never run out. Love will only reach its limit when we think we're alone. But your love will be limitless when you remember your love is God. Thank you so much, Aju.
Thank you so much, Reverend Dunkley. Let's give it up one more time for that incredible message. Thank you. Okay. Can all be seated? Thank you. Yeah, wow. Really feel Reverend Dunkley really took us through a journey this morning. Not just to hear words and understand it in our minds, but...
I'm sorry. I wanted to say hello to KEA, Reverend Che and all the members in KEA community. Actually, they're watching us live today. And I promised him that I would greet them. And I asked Tal to remind me, but she forgot to remind me. But I remembered as soon as I sat down. So I really want to give my love to you, Reverend Che, and all of the community at KEA. And let's help me love them by giving them a good Belvedere round of applause.
Woo! Love you, KEA! All right. Thank you very much. Yeah, we love KEA.